Before we get started with today's video, I have an announcement to make. After years of telling other people's stories, I finally released one of my own. My novel Eternal Reign is available now in both ebook and paperback format for those of you who are like me and prefer to collect physical media. You can grab a copy right now on Amazon through the link in the description of this video. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. The church clearly knew that Ramsay had gotten the Germanic scriptures, because as soon as he leaves the Orban monastery, a weird-looking wizard comes to him telling him to bring the book to the Rylvain's castle if he ever wants to see his sister alive again. Since he doesn't have much of a choice, he starts heading to the meeting site. The path to the castle isn't exactly clear since Ramsay has a pretty big price on his head, and some soldiers have gotten tired of fighting in the Lion War, and they think that the reward for killing a heretic would make things easier for them. The problem is, killing Ramsay isn't easy and the people who try end up dead. Just like he had promised, Olan runs into Ramsay again, and it turns out that he's a part of Goltana's Nantan Knights. He's been sent out to hunt deserters, so he has no interest in fighting Ramsay. Ramsay's brother's men are a different story, however, and since they aren't that far away, Olan thinks that it's in Ramsay's best interest to get away from there. Ramsay agrees, but before he leaves, he tells Olan to let him know if he comes across the Nantan Knight Orlandu, since he was Ramsay's dad's old friend, and may be more interested in making peace than the rest of the knights. As luck would have it, Orlandu is Olan's father-in-law, so he'll definitely see the man again, and if he finds out that the church is doing some heinous stuff, he'll be more than willing to turn his sword toward them. And since he's one of the deadliest warriors in Evilise, that would mean a lot. They think that the high priest is plotting something, but they don't have any proof. If it wasn't for the fact that Ramsay needs the Germanic scriptures to save his sister, he would have told Olan about it, but since saving his sister is more important than stopping the war, he says his goodbyes to Olan and heads on. The strange wizard who had brought Ramsay the message is named Malik, and he had never planned on letting Ramsay reach the castle. He set up an ambush so he could kill the man and take the scriptures for his own master. His sister Rafa doesn't want to be used as a tool of murder anymore, and she wants her brother to escape with her. He feels more loyalty to their master since he saved them after their parents were killed during the 50-year war. But Rafa is pretty sure that Grand Duke Barrington took advantage of the war and used it as an excuse to burn their village and turn them into willing slaves, all because of their special magic. Malik doesn't believe her about that, so he's not going to turn on the man. With or without her brother, Rafa is done, and to prove it, she warns Ramsay about the ambush and helps him force her brother to retreat. With her brother gone, Rafa gives Ramsay a heads up about what he'll face when he goes after his sister, and who the man is that her brother is working for. Barrington wants to be king, and he's known for making weapons and training wizards, so he'll be very well defended. Malik sends Ramsay a message by talking through a frog, which is a pretty cool power, and tells him to get to Rylvain's castle faster than gonna kill his sister, and if Rafa doesn't come with them, they'll still kill her. Since neither of them have a choice, they race off to the castle. When they get there, Barrington is meeting with Wigraf and Vormov in an attempt to get them to work with him to overthrow both Larg and Goltana. The man is very well informed when it comes to the Zodiac Stones and the power that they hold. He also knows why Vormov is hunting Ramsay. Vormov tries to play ignorant, but it turns out that Barrington learned the truth from Vormov's son Islud after he took the 2 stones from him that Islud took from Ramsay's sister. Vormov isn't happy about that, but he's still not willing to work with Barrington. The man threatens to expose the church's corruption if they don't, and he'll use the Germanic scriptures to do it. Vormov doesn't take too kindly to threats, so he sends Wigraf out to deal with Ramsay, and he uses the Zodiac Stone's power to deal with everyone in the room. Barrington sees what's about to happen and he runs away while his men get slaughtered. Ramsay and Rafa force Malik to retreat again, and this time Rafa chases after her brother to try and make him run away with her while Ramsay heads into the castle to save Alma. The castle is in total chaos. Vormov and Wigraf are wreaking so much havoc that one of the knights feels bad about leaving Alma locked in a cell with no means of escape, so he lets her out before he dies, giving her at least a small chance to live. While she's looking for a way out, Ramsay comes face to face with Wigraf, who seems to have a completely different personality after his resurrection. He doesn't even care about his sister's death anymore, and instead just wants to kill people and cause chaos. That doesn't change the fact that Ramsay will have to go through him to save his sister, so the two fight and Ramsay forces him to teleport away. He changes his mind mid-retreat and decides to turn into Velius to deal with Ramsay once and for all. Despite having the power of a Lucavi, Wigraf dies, letting Ramsay collect another Zodiac Stone before he continues his hunt through the castle. Alma makes it to the room where Vormov had first started his attack, and she sees that he didn't even spare his son. Islud finally realizes that Ramsay was right about the stones, just a little bit too late. But he gives Alma the stone that he has and tells her to make her brother warn everyone that if they don't stop fighting and work together against the new Zodiac Braves, everyone's gonna die. Alma takes the stone and heads off to do just that, but unfortunately for her, Vormov finds her first. He senses Wiegraf's death, which makes him realize just how dangerous Ramza really is. He gets ready to kill Alma, but his Virgo stone resonates with her, marking her as the person that he had been hunting for. So instead of killing her, he knocks her out and takes her with him, not noticing that Islud's stone fell out of her pocket when he grabbed her. Barrington had run to the roof of the castle to avoid getting murdered by Vormov, but Rafa followed him so she could finally get revenge on him for killing her parents. Unfortunately for her, she brought a knife to a gunfight, so the odds of her winning are pretty much zero. Barrington knows this, and like a typical movie villain, he gloats about how nothing will happen to him despite all of the things he's done to her and her family. Malik overhears him admitting to everything that Rafa had accused him of, so when he goes to shoot her, Malik pushes her out of the way and takes the hit himself. Ramza hears the commotion and comes to see what happened, but he can't exactly help while Barrington has a gun pointed at Rafa. Malik has the stones that they took from Alma in his pocket, so Barrington tells Rafa to bring them to him. Before she can comply, Marquis Elmdor and two very strong women show up and toss Barrington off the roof of the castle, before demanding that Rafa turn the stones over to them. Elmdor had supposedly died in a battle not so long ago, so Ramza is pretty sure that the man is as human as Wiegraf was in the end, which means giving him more Zodiac stones is not a good idea, so he attacks the Marquis instead, despite the fact that the man claims he'll make Vormov give Alma back if Ramza complies. After fighting with Ramza, the Marquis realizes why two of the Lucavi have lost to the man, and he decides to retreat so he can prepare to fight him on better terms at his own castle in Limberry. With the battle done and his sister still missing, Ramza gets ready to make his next move, but he stops when the Zodiac stone Rafa has starts talking to her, in much the same way that Wiegraf's had. It senses how sad she is over her brother's death, and it activates bringing him back to life, which proves that the power in the stones isn't inherently bad. It all depends on the desires of the person using them. While leaving the castle, Ramza finds the stone that Alma dropped, and with Rafa and Malik both deciding to join him on his mission, he makes his way to Limberry Castle where he hopes to finally rescue his sister. This concludes Chapter 3 of Final Fantasy Tactics. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, comment, share it, and subscribe. Grab a copy of my novel on your way out, and I'll see you all next time.